Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to another... Oh, I've not started it again. We've started this a few times. This time it's Nelson, probably barking at the post box. They've come streaming outside. I mean, you know, we're in the UK, drab UK, and all the grass is wet. We've got a big communal lawn on the front of our houses. Got our own areas at the back, but the front's communal, so they're out cutting it. It'll be all moshed up. Anyway, they've spoilt my train of thought. Welcome anyway. Welcome to the madhouse. This is part 2 of my new series showing you different journal covers, and some of these are ideas that I have got old videos, so if I can find some of those, I'll link them. And without further ado, we better crack on before we get some more noise. Okay, so faux leather. You can get actual faux leather, pleather fabric and use that. But for me, that doesn't give the really old age feel. It's nice, but it doesn't give a really old... Now I'm just going to see. I've got a roll of Craftex. The other thing you can use, just bear with 2 seconds. I'm just going to get my Craftex. Here it is. I've got to try and perch back on me. Oh, sorry, I've knocked you. Falling off my stool now. Right, okay. So this is Craftex, and I love it because, look at it, it is, in its own right, it is faux leather, and it's a lovely thickness. So you can, if you've got the funds, you can get that, but you're buying that specially. So I'm just going to show you how I make it to use up scraps. Okay, so I've got trusty packing paper. I've got, this is generally these, because I usually get these sorts of card because we buy a lot of books. So really, I'm just going through it for people that are probably brand new, but you know, it's not rocket science. We're going to cut round. That's a nice square piece. Bit flimsy on the edges, this one, so I might want to do some reinforcing on that. But that is what I've used for the backing here. Now I've scored down the middle already because I want this to have a, you know, if you want some decent signatures in it, score it ready before you... I've done that before I've put my scrumpled up packaging. Now, the thing with this is, depending on what sort of finish hold of your journal. So if, for example, you do want something that has really got that old leather look, and you want the stiff, you want it to be pretty sturdy, pretty stiff, then I suggest that, like, you do put a layer of card. Then you could either put some decorated papers, or often I will put a layer of calico muslin. I'll remember that now. Thank you, Nola. Nola's reminding me it's muslin in the States. On the back there. But also, you may not want a stiff card feel. You might want something that's really quite floppy, in which case I would mount this on to some thick calico, or a couple of layers of thick calico, and then you've got a more pliable, more soft feel to it. So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm just going to move that out the way. Now, a little bit about scrunching your paper. I mean, last week, I think this follows on quite nicely, but last week we were showing how to make cloth from your strips of paper, and this is no different. By really breaking down the fibres in your packaging paper, you are really turning it into a very soft very soft, pliable. Now you can keep scrunching this to the nth degree, and it will get softer and softer. Having said that, when you do that, you've got to be careful. I've chosen this piece on purpose. This is a bit too thin, really, too thin, because it splits a lot. And then once you start getting splits, that's okay. You can utilize that in your design if you want. But I personally, it's a bit too thin. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with using this piece, and we'll do the same treatment on it. And then you've got some nice level up pieces that you can make tags or anything really. You can make some decoration for your pages. But just, there is a difference, look. If you feel, sorry, we're crinkling. If you see the difference, that is much more robust than that. Okay, so for covers, a little bit too thin. You want something, they just send it in big rolls. You know, if you get, it's a waste really, Amazon, but it keeps us junk journalers in supplies, because they just roll loads of this up and you've only bought a thing that's that big, which is a waste to me. But anyway, it is a waste because, you know, the number of people that will reutilize it like we do are going to be in the minority compared to the waste that these companies, can't say the word again, can I? Get into trouble. These companies are being wasteful. But I'm glad from my point of view. So can you see this is crunching up nicely? Now, the other thing is, you may well see some videos where people spray the hands with oil, which you can if your hands are very dry, because this can make your hands a bit sore if you're doing it any length of time. I don't do that method very often because I find that for my purpose, for doing covers, I find it softens it too much. So you can do that, and you will see videos showing you that method. It's a good stress reliever. You know, if you're feeling stressed, go and get a load of brown, get it all ready, scrunched for when you need it for a project. Surprising how better it makes you feel. Okay, so that's just a little bit of guidance on choice of your brown papers, really. And as I say, you can use Craftex. So let's go to the one that I've already done. Now, I glued it down and then there was a great big bubble, so I've sliced it and then I've been working into it. Obviously, leather ages differently. You get different patina on it depending on how it's been used, where it's been, if it's, you know, been shoved up in the loft for years. So all the colours are not going to be uniform. So I build the colours up in layers. So already on here, what I've done on here is I've gone over this with some vintage photo. And then I've used walnut stain, both, you know, the Ranger inks. So that's given us a good base. But to be honest, I like, for my final layers, I like to use good old polish. Now you can tell we don't polish our shoes as much these days, don't we? We don't always have the surfaces that need polish, so you can tell by how dried up this is. But this is just ordinary tablet of polish, shoe polish, dark tan, and it's parade gloss. So this is what the armed forces use. Won't let it get that bad, will they? Okay, so I've got good old-fashioned duster, and I'm just going to make a start. Of course, in the corners, you're going to have more darkened patches in the corner. you don't have to be too precious with it, you know, to start with. Just get it on top of you. Sorry, this rubbing is making the thing judder. Just that you would put extra in the corners, because that's tending to be where your aging will show more. Don't put it on too thickly, because the key to this really is layers. Depends what colour leather you want as well as to what your final wax. You know, you can get a light tan, can't you, in shoe polish. I just find it an inexpensive way. Instead of using all your best inks for your top coat. Well, you can do if you want. But I just like the look this gives, because you can give it a bit more of a polished feel to it. Now look how lovely it's made that line. That was a mistake. I was just letting the glue out, the air and the glue. But look how nice that's come up. You'd think that was aged, wouldn't you? Right, so we've put plenty on our first coat. Right, let me just look at state of my nails. It's not good for your nails. Perhaps you need to wear gloves. I'm just having a slurp of my tea, because it's hard work, this waxing. Okay, I'm just going to move my cloth now to a clean piece, because we're going to be doing the buffing. So I'm going to start at this side, because I'm going to lay my arm in it when I get to the other bit. Can you see, look, what's coming off as you buff it? There's quite a lot still left on there. Okay, then back to our rubbing section, like so. You could even use one of your craft brushes if you want to buff it up, you know, because that's what we use when we're not sure if they teach kids now how to clean shoes anymore. That was something my dad taught me, like, because he did, you know, he did his national service in the UK, and keeping the shoes spotless like they do in the armed forces was a big thing. So my dad taught me. I'm not sure. See, look, these are the threads, and I quite like them. They've got incorporated there. I want that to be. Let me turn it round. And can you see how all the creases are really taking up? Oops. Right, we'll manage with that now. I'm going to give this a buff. You don't have to buff it as much if you don't want a shiny look. if you've got odd bits, I'm just going to get my not glitter glue. I'm just going to stick that little piece down the wrong way. There. Is that going to do it? Probably not, because of all the wax on it now. Press that down a minute. And you could do a bit of a mass make, really, couldn't you? If you want to make a few with this finish. Okay, so let me get my grungy bit out again. Yeah, I don't think it's going to stick, that. There we have it. There we have. And we'll do some further decorating with that and carry on with the junky feel. Now, I'll tell you what I don't like. Now that's all finished. I really don't like this stitching around the edge at all. So I'm just going to cut that off because I don't think it goes. I really should have done it with a nice brown instead of that black. But that's easy remedied, isn't it? Just going to cut that off. You watch, it'll probably come off my backing now because I only tend to put light glue on underneath just to hold it while I sew it, but no, it's not. So far it's not, so that's fine. There we go. It's probably not the straightest. I'll just cut down here because there's no point in accepting it if you don't like it. Put all that effort into putting your cover on. Sorry if I'm taking it away. It's hard to cut in leaning into the camera. There we go. Don't throw them away, actually. I could use them. I'll use them for something. I'll show you what we could use them for. Okay, so that is our cover there. Tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to show you, because I said that you could use this for things in your journal. Now, can you see how dark this is coming out? Because I haven't put any underneath. So this gives a completely different coloration. But I actually like that. I think that shows it up really well. See how easy it's ripping. But that's okay, because we're not using it for a cover. We're just going to tear bits off. And actually, you know, that's going to give a really nice effect to some tags. So, you know, if you're just starting out your junk journaling craft journey and you haven't got loads of inks, go and buy a couple of pounds worth of shoe polish. It's a lot more messy. And you can't obviously get the full effects because, you know, as you get from the other. Right, so let's just bring that in. So can you see that is a completely different look? And also we haven't got the shine on it. And because it's thinner and because it's soaking it up, you can't get, you know, you won't be able to buff it the same. So if you know, again, if you want something that's going to be really well buffed, I like this. I like this colour on here. I think that's because if you look at it closely, it looks like you can see the crackled leather, can't you? There. Okay then. So, hope that's give you some ideas or refreshed your memory if you've seen this before, and it's not something new that I've done. I have done it in the past, but you've got two different colorations there, and so choose your brown paper, your packaging carefully, depending on the thickness of the journal you want to make, and also either back it with card for a more sturdy cover, or back it with 2 layers of calico muslin if you want it to be really soft, a soft squishy journal. Sometimes I will put a layer of bubble wrap in between if I want it to be really squidgy. And in this series I'm going to be making a cover with some bubble wrap. So yeah, look out for that. So don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you know when the next in the series are being uploaded. So thank you so much for your time today. I will see you next video. We managed to get through it. We managed to get through it without any more dog woofing and lawn trimming. So see you out there. Bye.